Today, like I said, we're going to be talking about questions around whether Nigeria should continue with the importation of fuel. The removal of fuel subsidy was basically harped upon the principle of importation of fuel and how much forex it's going to save Nigeria, because when you don't have, the government and other fuel importers coming after the very, very little forex that we have currently, the explanation is that it's going to reduce the pressures on forex, thereby freeing up enough forex for other sectors of the economy that really needs it. Now, here we are again with the question of whether Nigeria should continue importing despite having a refinery. Whether it is private or government owned, these aren't the questions that are on the front burner, because as we know, quite recently, about three marketers, I think AY Shafa, AA Rano, and one other, I think Matrix or so, took Dangote to court over plans, according to them, to monopolize the business. But then, a lot of Nigerians have been watching with keen interest to know how this is going to turn out, especially, onlookers who are in the international community seeing what's going on and asking themselves the question of whether they thought that having a refinery would have solved these problems. But we've seen the back and forth and the controversies upon counter controversies that all of this, has developed. So Nigeria's reliance on petrol imports it has been a complex issue with economic and social dimensions. Now, there are arguments both for and against continuing imports, and each has implications for the nation's development, economy, and also energy security. Nigeria's dependency on petrol imports has long been a topic of national debate, balancing economic necessity with strategic self-reliance. As Africa's largest oil producer, the country imports most of its refined petroleum due to limited and underperforming local refining capacity. So the question is whether Nigeria should continue with petrol importation or not. The numbers would be displayed on your screen at any moment now for you to call in with your questions, your comments, your thoughts, and also your concerns on this matter. Should Nigeria or should it not continue with the importation of fuel? Of what benefit is it going to be to Nigerians if Nigeria continues or not, the importation of petroleum products? I mean, we're seeing the likes of Dangote saying that the price of refining crude here in Nigeria and also selling these refined petroleum products to independent petroleum marketers, he says, is cheaper than what they are getting from outside. And we saw the back and forth that happened, between these two parties, Ipman on one hand and Dangote and the Dangote refinery on the other hand, and how one has accused the other one, of not being sincere to Nigerians. But talking about Nigerians, we have our first caller on the program. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Interactive. What's your name and where are you calling from? Okay, so...
Hello, good morning.
Yes, hello, good morning. Your name and your location?
Good morning, my name is Mr. Paul. I'm calling you from Makurdi, Benue State.
Mr. Paul from Makurdi, Benue State. How's Makurdi this morning?
Makurdi is good. Makurdi is fine.
Oh, lovely. Let's hear your take. Should Nigeria continue the importation of fuel or not?
Thank you very much. This topic that you brought this morning is a very nice one, because Nigerians are in serious pain concerning fuel issue. So I think many people would love to participate in this topic.
Okay.
My own take on this issue is that if imported fuel would be cheaper for Nigerians to afford, I think I say yes to that.
Okay.
Because when they were talking about that Dangote refinery coming up, before tinubu comes in last year, we were of hope that when they come up, things will be better for us. At least cost of exporting crude oil for refining and bringing it back. We thought all those things would be calculated and they would be deducted from the production, as in from the price of the product. But surprisingly, there is no any good news that we have it than jacking up the price. So they said that the masses could not afford it again. If somebody tells me that in Nigeria we will buy fuel for 500 per liter, I will say no. If it's the prophet that says so, I will tell you are a doomed prophet. Take it to your family. But unfortunately, where we meet ourselves now is very bad and is very painful. People are suffering because everything in Nigeria goes with fuel. Even to go and barb your hair in the barbing salon, if there is no light, the barber will surcharge you because of the cost of the price of fuel. So if importing that fuel, if we can get a cheaper fuel by importation, I think it's a good thing. Because a particular set of people just gather themselves and begin to exploit the Nigerians, innocent Nigerians, at the cost of their own greedy, or what do I put it, sir? So I think importing fuel, if we will get it cheaper than Dangote own, let them bring it in. It's a good move.
All right then. Thank you so much, Paul.
No, it's not a particular person's fact that you think you treat us the way you like and you go free.
Of course.
So it's a good thing. It's a good thing because I'm disappointed that they promised us that before 6 months of their present tenure, at least Port Harcourt refinery will be in place. But up till now, my question is it that those things that are not proper in those refineries, those things that are faulty there, are they not in the market?
Well, Paul,
or is it that Nigeria cannot afford to buy those things to replace so that those refineries can be working?
Paul, you see, the last we heard about the Port Harcourt refinery was that it had achieved technical completion. So maybe the next we would hear from the government would be that it's now finally ready for commissioning. But again, these are some of the dynamics that form the conversations around the question of whether Nigerians should import or not, petroleum products. We are grateful for your contributions on the program, Paul. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you very much, Abba.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. Yes, that was Paul. Paul called all the way from Makudi, Benue State, with his contributions, on this very topical issue. But then I must say that it's really a thing of concern, isn't it? Because Nigerians have found themselves in a situation, many of them, in this situation where unfortunately they are looking for what is cheaper as opposed to what is sustainable. And this is where it becomes even more concerning, because why are we no longer talking about the conversation of sustainability? When you have a refinery working in your country, it simply means that over time you become self-sufficient in the product that it is churning out, be it diesel, petrol, aviation fuel, and all the other products that it refines. So if we deny ourselves the possibility of having a refinery that is sufficient, don't you think that it in the long run would affect us economically? Of course, this is a question that I'm posing out there. Please, viewers, continue to call in, with your thoughts, your comments, your concerns, and even your questions on these issues, as I believe the authorities would be listening and would provide answers. And talking about calling in, we have our next caller now on the program. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Interactive. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Yakubu Musa, calling you from Jos.
Yakubu Musa from Jos. Good morning. How's Jos this morning? I hear it has started becoming really cool. I mean that's
sincerely speaking, the issue of this petrol. I don't know what is wrong with our leaders. They're just making us as just like a child play. Now, for how many consecutive years since Obasanjo review, they remove money with the intention of repairing the refineries. That's what Patakori Wari and Kaduna. Up to that, every year in every budget, there is money allocated for that work. Now, this kind of money allocated, when you accumulate the money, it is even build a modern refinery. What is wrong with our leaders? They do travel abroad. They see how things are moving successfully. But when they come back home, I don't know what is wrong with them. And that issue of importing petrol, do you know that the one they import into Nigeria is substandard?
Of course. I mean, we're talking about the ECOWAS accepted importation standards for petrol should be something around 50 parts per million or so. But it's unfortunate that we see them continue to clamor for the importation of petroleum products, despite knowing that, it hurts the economy. Yakubu, these are some of the issues, that's of concern. And that's why I want more Nigerians, to continue to call in to speak on these issues, so more people, understand the implications of the call for continuous import of petroleum products. Of course, it's a free market, yes, but then at what cost are we getting the market free for? I think that's the questions a couple of Nigerians should continue to ask themselves. Yakubu, go ahead.
Now, when you look at it critically, when you import fuel, look at the cost of logistics, look at insurance and what have you, look at loading and uploading, look at the long transportation. All this is built on the product. Unlike when we repair our own, we'll push it to Kaduna will push it to here until we have depot. Now, when you compare the costs, you cannot even compare it. This one is at home. This one is far away. When you take the sample of Nigerian petrol, the one refined in Nigeria, you take it to lab for test to see the quality. It's far better than the one they import to us. And look at the price of a liter today. It's over 1,000 plus. For example, somebody with a salary earner who has a small car, he used to go to the office. Now, if every day he's using a gallon is around 5,000 now. Multiply 5,000 by 20 working days of demand.
Astronomical.
How much is he earning?
Indeed, these are the questions. These are the very, very worrying questions, Yakubu. Thank you so much for bringing this to the fore, and of course, thank you so much for...
Look at electricity. The bill, price per unit. Sorry, there is one man who is a retiree. He's taking his pension at 35,000. Last month, they brought in 30,000 for electricity. Now, not 5,000. He has 5 children. He has a wife. 5,000. What do you 5,000? Even pure water will not take them 5,000 for the rest of the month.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So this kind of things.
Indeed.
This kind of things. Please.
Indeed.
Let our leaders look at the margins.
Indeed. Thank you.
Things are not going in the right direction.
Indeed. Well, we do hope that those in the quarters and in the corridors of government are watching and, of course, are on top of the situation to ensure that a lot of these pressures are assuaged from Nigerians, because, like Yakubu has said, it's a really sorry situation, and quite a number of Nigerians are feeling the impact. The question, should Nigerians continue to import? At what cost are Nigerians going to be getting petrol from the Dangote refinery? The question of why the IPMAN has not been working with the Dangote refinery, or why there still has not been adequate supply of petrol in the different filling stations across the country despite the availability. So these are the questions that have continued to cause concerns, but despite this, Nigerians are the ones that continue to bear the brunt of this situation. Let's hear from our next caller. Hello, good morning, welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling from? Unfortunately, we lost that caller. Talk about the brunt, talk about those who are affected. It's looking like Nigerians have found themselves between the rock and a hard surface, because you're saying you should import, somebody is saying don't import. Nigerians are suffering inadequate supply of the PMS. On the other hand, the government is saying convert to CNG because it is cheaper, and Nigerians are converting and they're still complaining that there are still queues because there are no filling points for them to go and fill. So in the end, it's looking like Nigerians just continues to be the ones who have to be resilient and who have to be the one to bear the brunt of all of these, actors that are in the playing field and causing all the ruckus and the fuss. But let's take this caller as well. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Mr. Jaffet from Jalingo, Taraba State.
Mr. Jaffet from Jalingo, Taraba, welcome to the program. Yes. Let's hear your take.
Honestly, the masses or the citizens of Nigeria has been anticipating for relief after completion of Dangote refinery. But looking at it now, it's like 10 steps backward.
How do you mean?
So, if the Nigeria will continue importing
Yusuf, are you there? Fortunately, we lost Yusuf, but Yusuf was trying to make a point, and it's really worrying. I mean, Why are we talking about importation when we have a working refinery? You see, this question, when countries like Ghana and some other West African countries are talking about coming, to a refinery that has been built in Nigeria to do business because they feel it's cheaper, we in Nigeria here, for some reason, are saying buying from Dangote is expensive. I mean, this is the Nigeria where a couple of months ago we saw on the headlines accusations and counter accusations that quite a number of importers had imported dirty fuel. We also saw contaminated fuel and all of these lingos that were around fuel that were probably not of the standard that it should be of, for Nigerian vehicles, for the safety of Nigerian vehicles. But then again, here, we have a working refineries that other countries within the West African sub-region want to do business with, and for some reason, we can't have fuels in our filling stations. Talk about the impact of Nigeria. Talk about the impact of businesses. We have people in the northern parts of the country who have been cut off in terms of supply of power and electricity, yet they cannot afford to buy petrol as an alternative to continue running their businesses. How much have they incurred in losses? How much will they continue to incur because of all of this? This is the reason why I want you to call into the program with your thoughts, your comments, your concerns, your questions to those in the authorities. Give them free advice if you want to, but then one thing that is certain is a lot of Nigerians cannot continue with this. Talk about Nigerians. Let's now get the take of this Nigeria, unfortunately, whom we lost, but then please keep the calls coming in. Hello, good morning, welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning. My name is Hassan. I'm coming from Benue State.
Mr. Hassan from Benue State, welcome to the program. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Please, I don't get it. I believe we have a refinery that is functioning. Talk of Dangote. And now they are talking of importation again of food. So I see that we are in a state of confusion right now, because we need to help, our government need to help Dangote so that they can function very well, and then we can get our fuel from there. If you look at what is happening now, even in Nigeria right now, fuel has become a big issue in the nation right now. In terms of commodity, cost of commodity in the market, and so many other things.
Everything is tied to fuel. Everything is tied to fuel.
You can see. So, we are in a state of confusion. So, Nigeria had to do something. Our government had to do something. This is confusion. And I pray that God will help our country.
Amen. Amen, Mr. Aruna. Thank you so much.
So that is my contribution this morning.
Thank you so much for your very apt contributions. Thank you so much for calling on the program, Haruna. Haruna called from Makudi, Benue State with his contributions, talking about Nigeria being in a state of confusion and the need for God to help us out of this confusion. I mean, well, it's one way to put it, honestly it is, because, I mean, if you just sit down and take time to reminisce or consider, the myriad of issues back and forth here and there, it makes one to really consider whether it's truly a spiritual problem and whether we need to go to God to pray more than we need to get up and act. But then again, it doesn't change the fact that those in authority need to do something and do something fast to ensure, that a lot of these pressures are assuaged, because of course, sometimes when pressures such as this come in, most people are left with no choice than to find alternatives out. And then what do you do in situations when even the alternatives, even prove difficult or are hard to reach? Then you tend to describe the situation as probably a helpless situation. Now, this is the reason why it's important for the alternatives to be available. If you're saying Nigerians should transition from petrol to gas, then provide the infrastructure and provide the filling points for Nigerians to, transit easily and without any stress. Let's get take from this Nigerian now. Good morning, welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. I'm Baba from Masabi Benefit. The topic you are discussing now is very, very important to everyone. But what I would that for me, the answer for whether Nigeria should continue to petition or not, the answer is yes. That is because anything that will make the petrol affordable to Nigeria, that's what we want. Though it's good to support Daybreak for us to do, but if the settlement of this refinery cannot help Nigeria, then that is a big monopoly. It monopolizes everything. Let's take, for instance, the cement issue, another thing. That is the biggest manufacturer of cement in Nigeria, also in Africa. But today, see the cost of the road playing the cost of cement. So it's the same thing. Want to the issue of petrol supply. If reporting will make Nigeria fuel, why? So the one that we are expecting is that for the issue petrol to be activated. That is my point.
Thank you so much for the call.
That the president, it's not supposed to be in that place because all that is happening is known to in the game. They are paying them. It's not like the cabal in the presidency. There's a cabal in the point of that. But maybe carry means how to stop it if you want to stop it. But I'm afraid we get to protect the trouble for the election for the APC.
All right.
So what I say is the petrol make the petrol cheaper. Let them go for it. So that can make because it's a solution initially from the NNPC to say that that will not send directly to the petrol dealer by the NNPC. All these are just gimmicks. The ones that are just taking advantage.
All right then. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the call. Unfortunately, the network interference at some point made it difficult to make out what you're saying. But of course, your message is clear. If it's going to be cheaper for Nigerians to purchase, then Nigerians should be allowed to import the product. Let's also get submissions from our next caller. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning. I'm Joe calling from Makodi.
Shehu from Makudi, welcome to the program. Go ahead with your take.
Yeah, my take on the issue being discussed on the station is that we should not be advocating for exportation because we have all that we can have our own crude here in Nigeria.
All right.
And we have been looking us to see that it is better for us to consume the Nigerian product. It will create employment, it will say that we are calling for exportation of fuel now. It means that the byproducts and other products of the good will not come back to the country. So what should be done is government should come up with policies that will carry on where human feet. The NNPC have made everything difficult for them to take care. Before the fuel reach market, they had to be fixing the price here and there. If you deregulate something, are you supposed to be keeping the price? So I think what they should do is that they should make the necessary laws to enhance the functioning of local refineries.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Allow refineries to come up on board.
Thank you so much,
to ensure that there is adequate supply of fuel and then
price at which Nigeria can afford to buy. That's my thing.
Thank you so much, Shehu. So I'm thanking Shehu so much because it seems Shehu is one of few other callers into this program who has spoken so extensively on the need not to encourage importation, and for right reasons. Now, perhaps I should put it into perspective. So, you have a refinery that cost around $20 billion to, construct, build, and is currently running to some capacity. Let's say I don't know the capacity, but it's running to a significant capacity. It means that this refinery is going to be employing labor in the country, whether they like it or not. They have corporate social responsibilities that bound them to that community where they found themselves, aside from the numerous economic positive implications of having that kind of refinery, that kind of facility run in your country. It means you have a source of more forex. Instead of taking dollars out to buy and import, you're saving more dollars, if not getting dollars, as a result of that refinery. Now I understand that Nigerians feel that it becomes more expensive at some point to buy from the Dangote refinery, and this is by no means a promo or whatever this would be described as. But the question is, when we say that the products from this refinery becomes expensive, do we not then start to clamor for competition? That is talking about the rise of another refinery, whether private owned or government owned, another refinery that will come to compete with this one, as opposed to going hand and cap and knees, outside Nigeria to beg people to sell petroleum imports to us. What if one day they decide not to sell to us? How do we sustain it when our reserves run dry? What do we do? These are the questions that Nigerians probably should ask themselves, but unfortunately, they are not even able to do so because the products are not even available. How do you even access petroleum products by a refinery that has been running for a good part of how long? 6 months, thereabouts, or more? And then Nigerians have continually expected government regulations, to push out these products and make them more available to them. But then, how won't they continue to ask for importation so long as it's cheaper, when they can't even access, or they feel that they've not even seen with their eyes the petrol that is coming from these new refineries? I believe that's what, has been the dynamics that's been causing all the play. But then, let's get it from this other caller. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning. I'm calling from Nasarawa State.
Nasarawa, what's your name, sir?
Okay, from Cairo. My name is Mr. Emmanuel.
Mr. Emmanuel from Nasarawa State. All right, go ahead with your take.
Okay, thank you. I think Nigeria is called one of the oil producing nations.
Surely.
And it's embarrassing. If we cannot, if we have oil, producing oil, we cannot have a single refinery that we can be proud of. You see, you are going to talk about importation. I think it's a way of embarrassing the integrity of the country. It is high time we begin to think inward to see how we can encourage local production. Nigeria, for God's sake, is called Giant of Africa. Giant in what? What is our pride? What are we showcasing?
I think we're making giant strides.
There's room for competition. If other foreign investors can come here and establish their private refinery, no problem. The ground is we have the ground, we have the resources. So there can be competition. Anywhere you see that the price is okay, you go and buy. But the idea of saying to continue importation, I think it doesn't make us responsible.
Indeed.
We end up disgracing ourselves.
Indeed.
We end up telling the whole that we're lazy.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Thank you so much. Go ahead. All right, Emmanuel, we lost Emmanuel there. But then Emmanuel was making such critical points. He talked about embarrassment, which I believe this is. Nigerians saying Nigerian refined petrol is more expensive than imported petrol, and we're seeing foreign countries coming to say we are coming to buy from Nigeria because it's cheaper. It sort of reeks of some form of double standards, if you ask me, and it sort of brings to fore, the dynamics of how all of these issues are. But let's take our last caller, then I give my submissions. Hello, welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Moses Akezi. I'm calling from Edo State.
Welcome to the program.
South State.
Welcome to the program, Moses. Go ahead with your contribution.
My contribution is that, please, federal government should try and put it into consideration and make sure our refinery, the old refineries we have on ground, should try and make sure it's working. Because the cost of fuel now is just too outrageous. It's so expensive. And majority of Nigerians have parked their car, including me. I parked my car because it's not easy to buy fuel on your car and begin to go wherever you wish to go in terms of work and to church or any other place. Because you consider the money used to buy fuel is too expensive, but if you want to follow normal taxing, it will be more economical. And our cars are getting damaged where we park the car just because we cannot afford it. Because our income is lesser than our expenses in Nigeria. Even food is just too expensive. And it's just because the cost of fuel is too much. That is why you see it has affected all the hosts in Nigeria, including the food items. Every other thing is being controlled by fuel. And please, Nigeria, the government should please try and do something because Nigeria, they are suffering and they should allow the poor to breathe.
Thank you so much. I like how you concluded it. The government should allow the poor to breathe. I mean, if the president had not said it then, perhaps Nigerians would not be saying it now. But then to the government, to the federal government, in fact, to the government across board, the federal, state and local government, allow Nigerians to breathe. Because in the end, this is becoming, like Emmanuel said, an international embarrassment. And Nigerians, despite the embarrassment, still have to contend with fuel scarcity, which has continued to impact their businesses. So I would just add to what Moses has said finally. Government, please make it easy for Nigerians so that, in the next few months, weeks, years to come, they have reason to say, finally, some relief. But with that, we wrap up this segment of Daybreak Interactive. To all of those who have called into the program with their contributions, we say thank you very much for your contributions. Please continue to contribute on the program so those at the helms of affairs knows the true situation of what's going on at your ends, and so they can do something, to course correct or to improve upon the situations. And for those who are unable to do so, well, you'd have a chance to do so, of course, another time, because Daybreak Interactive runs Monday through till Saturday on the Daybreak Show.